Hello soulmate, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video I'm going to be teaching us how to draft and cut this backless gown. So if this is something you like, stay tuned to the end of the video as I show you the step-by-step process on how to go about cutting and drafting this style. Thank you so much. So I've gone ahead to place the horizontal lines just as you can see. So for the front I have the shoulder line, the chest line, which is your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. Then I also mark the bust point line, the under bust, then the waistline, then the hip level. So the total length of what I'm working with is 34 inches. So you might just decide on the length that you want to work with, whatever length you want for yourself. So I'm going to be placing the shoulder measurement on the shoulder line and on the chest line. So that's half of the shoulder measurement. We are going to draw a straight line across. So the neck width for now, I've marked about 3 inches, then 1 inch for shoulder slope. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the points. So I'm going to get the midpoint there and come in by half an inch. So I'm just going to connect all the points together to get the arm circle or the armhole. So this is what we have. So next up, you are going to be placing your bust span or half of your nipple to nipple measurement. You place it on the bust point all through to the waistline. So I'm just going to be extending it below the waistline by 4.5 inches for the dart length. So for the dart intake on both sides, I'm marked about 0.5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect all the dart lines, just as you can see, to the bust point this way. So next up, I'm going to be placing quarter of your bust measurement, quarter of your waist measurement plus the dart intake, quarter of your hip measurement on the hip lines, quarter of your hip measurement on the gown length as well. So just go ahead and connect all the points together, just as you can see. So you connect all the points together this way, just as you can see. So next up, the difference between the front and back waistline is 1 inch. So that's for the bust dart that I just marked. So I'm using a princess dart. So now you're going to get the midpoint of your arm circle. So you connect it to the bust point this way. So you're going to come down by 1 inch. Then you connect it back to the bust point again. So now you're going to extend that line by that 1 inch that you came down by. So next up, you're going to reshape the armhole, just as you can see, so that you don't have shortage. We're going to determine how wide our front panel is going to be. That's our center front. So I marked about 2.5 inches on the hip line and on the gown length at the center front. So I'm just going to roll a straight line like this across, just as you can see. So by this side, I did the waist snitching of 0.25. So just to give it a snatch effect around the waistline. So 0.25. So I'm just going to reconnect the lines, just as you can see. So now I'm going to be marking 2 inches below the waistline. Mark 2 inches below the waistline. So I'm going to be connecting it to the hip line, using your curvy ruler to connect it to the hip line, just like this. So you can just blend in that part so that it doesn't look too pointy. So I'm just going to be extending this line. That's the dart line. Since I'm going to be using slash and spread method, so I'm just going to be dividing what I have on the hip line, just share it into 4. So I've just divided that part into 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll a straight line across, just as you can see. So after rolling a straight line, I'm just going to be labeling the panels, labeling it 1, 2, 3, 4, and making sure that this is for the front pattern. So let's move to the neckline. So the actual neck, the shoulder that I worked with is about 3.5 inches. Then the neck width I used is about 4.5 inches, or you can use 4 inches depending on what you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the points this way. So I didn't like the way this curve was looking. I think it was looking a little bit somehow. So but I had to reshape it using my other ruler because I didn't like how that effect was looking like. So I think it's way better this way. It's better this way. So now we are done with drafting the front pattern. So we'll move to the back. So for the back pattern, I've gone ahead to mark the horizontal lines, which is the shoulder line, the chest line. The waistline for the front and back is different. So the front is 16 inches while the back is 15 inches. Then the hip line. So to get the actual length for your back, you just say the length that you're using for your front pattern minus the bust dart. Maybe your bust dart is 1 inch or 2 inch, whatever it is, you minus it, so you'll be able to get the back length that way. So now the center back, I marked about, on the waistline I marked about 0.75 inches. So this is because so that the zipper can relax well at the back. You know our back is not straight, so I connected it to the shoulder line and to the hip line. So next up, I'm going to be placing half of the shoulder measurement on the shoulder line and on the chest line. So I marked about 3 inches for the neck width, then 1 inch for shoulder slope, just as you can see. So you just go ahead and connect the points, then you get the midpoint of the armhole, then go in by half an inch on that point. So you just go ahead and connect the points this way so that we can get our armhole curve for the back pattern, just as you can see. So next up, on the waistline there, I'm going to be marking half of the bust span there after the 0.75. So I'm going to add back the 0.75 so that I can mark it on the chest line, just as you can see. So I'm just going to roll a straight line across. So now I'm extending the dart leg below the waistline by 4.5 inches. So the intake on both sides is 0.5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the points. If it was a stretchy fabric, I might not use that, but I might not use that though. Next up, you go ahead and place quarter of your bust measurement on the chest line, quarter of your waist measurement plus the dart intake, then quarter of your hip measurement on the hip line and on the gown length. So you just go ahead and connect all the points together, just as you can see. You connect all the points together this way. Remember that I did waist stitching for the front by 0.25, so I'm going to do that for the back pattern as well. So 0.25, so I'm just going to go ahead and connect it. So the reason for doing this is to have a more defined waistline. So if you don't want to do it, you can just leave it like that. So the point mark X is the line that we're going to be cutting off. To determine the wideness of the center back panel, so I marked 2.5 inches on the hip line and on the gown length. So I wrote a straight line across. So on the waistline, below the waistline, I came down by 2 inches. So I'm just going to be connecting it this way to the hip line, just as you can see. Then you blend in that part so that it doesn't look too pointy. So now you're just going to share what you have into 4. Just share it and roll a straight line. So the reason for sharing it is because you want to use slash and spread method. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect all the points together, just as you can see. So you make sure you label it as well. So on the waistline, to eliminate excesses, so I came up and down by 0.5 inches. So just connect it to the waistline by the side. So we're going to be closing up that part. So now to determine how high you want it to be at the back, so there I marked about 2.5 inches. You can use 3 inches or 4 depending on how much you want to open up your back. So on the shoulder I marked about 3.5 inches, just the way I marked for the front. So now we are going to be crafting our C back. So I already did a freehand, so I'm going to be using my ruler to try to make all the points more visible, make it curvy, just as you can see. I'm just trying to blend everything all together. So this way is just me trying to see that whatever I'm marking, whatever I'm crafting out makes sense. So you carefully do this process. You don't have to rush it because you need to look at it very well. If the open back you've crafted is something you like. So this is what it looks like. The next process is for us to tighten our back. So you just roll a slant line like this, not too slanted. So on both sides you can just mark about 0.25. So I have about 3 lines that I marked. So this is so that your is not gaping at the back, like it's not opened. That's the reason for doing that. So now I'm just going to be closing this that intake around the waistline. So you just close it up, then use your paper tape to hold it, just as you can see. So you just extend the lines this way. So this is what we have for the front and back pattern. So now next up we're going to be cutting. We're going to start from the front. So just carefully look at how I am cutting the pattern. You don't have to rush the process. Just carefully look at how I am cutting it. So now for this side, which is where we have the bust start. So I'm just going to be opening up the bust start. You can see I didn't cut the side out entirely. So open it up to the bust point. So you're just going to be closing up the bust start. Use your paper tape to hold it this way. So if the lines by the side are not equal, you make sure you draw a new line. But because lines are equal, that's why I didn't reshape the line by this side. So this is for the front. So go ahead and cut the back pattern. So now this is what we have for the back. So just go ahead and continue cutting the process. Do not rush the process, I mean. So this point now, I'm going to be closing up those lines that I indicated. So you close it in form of a dot. You close it in form of a dot, like something. You close it in form of a dot. You close the tree in form of a dot. So you use your paper tape to hold it down. So by the time you are done closing in form of a dot, if the lines are not equal, you reshape the line so that the lines will be equal. Do you understand? So that the lines will be equal. So you carefully reshape the lines, just as you can see. So next up, you are going to just go ahead and continue cutting. You are just going to go ahead and continue cutting, just as you can see. So you don't need to rush the process. Just one at a time. Then you label your pattern as well. So this is what we have for the back. Then this is for the front, just as you can see. So next up, I'm going to be showing you how we go about the slash and spread method. So because yes, I'm going to be showing you that process. So now I have a fresh pattern paper. So I'm just going to get the midpoint of this pattern paper. I'll just get the midpoint by rolling a straight line across. So make sure that when you are cutting for your fabric, you have two pieces for it, because you are going to be joining one by the side and one by the other side. So I rolled a straight line at the bottom. So now I've splitted the patterns. So now I'm just going to be placing the front piece here. Then I'm going to be placing the side piece as well, the back piece, just as you can see, the back piece. So you are going to be cutting two pieces. Do you understand? For the two sides. So in between it, so all around, you just add 0.5 inches in allowance. Then in between the spacing, you can determine the amount you want to add. Probably you want to add about 3 inches, 4 inches. Depends on how full you want it to be. So you can determine your fullness with this slash and spread method, how full you want it to be. So we have come to the end of this tutorial, guys. So don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, comment, like and share. Thank you.